You wake up in London on a gray, mild morning. 50 degrees. Drizzling, like always. Now picture a city at the exact same latitude on the other side of the world. That city is Labrador, Canada. Right now, it is buried under snow, locked in ice for another 4 months. Same latitude, completely different planet. Why? The answer isn't in the sky. It's beneath the water, moving right now, silently, carrying more water than every river on Earth combined. Scientists call it thermohaline circulation. Most people simply call it the global conveyor belt. For thousands of years, it has quietly decided who gets to be rich, who gets to stay warm, and who gets left behind. Most people assume wealth comes from culture, politics, or resources in the ground. But long before any of that mattered, geography had already dealt the cards. And the dealer was water. In the North Atlantic, warm water travels up from the tropics, carrying heat the way a radiator heats a house. This is the Gulf Stream. Then something unexpected happened. Benjamin Franklin started asking a simple question. Why were British mail ships always arriving late? The answer led him to one of the most important discoveries in ocean history. The Gulf Stream swings east across the Atlantic. As it moves, it releases warmth into the air. That warm air drifts inland. It's why Britain, at the same latitude as frozen Canadian tundra, gets soft rain instead of blizzards. But heat isn't the whole story. Once that warm water reaches the far North Atlantic, it cools. Cooler, saltier water is denser. So it does something almost nobody pictures when they think about oceans. It sinks, thousands of meters down, out of sight, to the bottom of the Atlantic. Then it begins a slow journey south, along the ocean floor, past the equator, around Africa, into the Indian and Pacific Oceans. It takes 1,000 years to complete the loop. Water sinking off Greenland today began its journey before the printing press existed. It took scientists centuries to understand why. In the 1950s, oceanographer Henry Stommel finally explained it. Warm water flows north. Cold, salty water sinks. Gravity keeps the cycle moving. Decades later, geochemist Wallace Broecker named it the global conveyor belt. He also found something alarming in ancient ice cores. The belt has stopped before, in some cases within decades. When it stopped, entire regions flipped from mild to frozen within a human lifetime. Climate is not separate from history. It is history's quiet co-author. Because of this warmth, growing seasons in Britain and France last longer than they should. More growing time meant more food. More food meant fewer famines. Fewer famines meant larger populations. Larger populations built cities, expanded trade, eventually empires. Newfoundland sits at nearly the same latitude, but the cold Labrador Current drags Arctic water south along that coast instead. Short summers, harsh winters, large-scale farming never really took hold. Two coastlines, same latitude, two completely different economic futures. Now consider the opposite twist. Coastal Peru sits in the tropics but is largely desert. The cold Humboldt Current suppresses rainfall onshore. That sounds like a curse. It wasn't. The same current pulls nutrients up from the ocean floor. It creates one of the richest fishing grounds on Earth. The current that stole the rain also gave the coast its economy. Sometimes the same force that takes something away builds something else entirely in its place. Here is the part that should unsettle you. Everything you've heard so far depends on one thing: cold, salty water near Greenland, staying heavy enough to sink. Right now, that balance is changing. Fresh water is pouring into exactly the place where the conveyor belt needs heavy water to sink. Fresh water is lighter. It resists sinking. Research suggests the system may be nearing a tipping point, one the historical record shows can flip within decades. A warming planet could make northern Europe colder, fast enough to reshape agriculture and coastlines. The very current that quietly built the wealth of the North Atlantic may be the one that quietly dismantles it. So the next time you check the weather and it says 50 degrees and drizzling, you're not just seeing today's forecast. You're seeing the tail end of a 1,000-year journey carried by water that began sinking off Greenland before your country, your language, or most of what you call history existed. You wake up in London on a gray, mild morning, 50 degrees, drizzling, like always, and somewhere beneath you, in water you will never see, The current that made all of this possible is still moving, still flowing, still deciding, quietly, who gets to stay warm.